First, fast, accurate.
On World News Tonight this Sunday, Hurricane Floyd gone but not forgotten. Half the state of North Carolina devastated by flooding. Damage estimates in the hundreds of millions. The government doctor who says he broke the rules to do the right thing. Are there secrets the government doesn't want you to know? A dangerous mission of peace begins in East Timor. The peacekeepers take the first steps in unfriendly territory.
How far is that gonna go?
And another record set, the amazing Sammy Sosa.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight, Sunday.
Good evening, I'm Carol Simpson. Hurricane Floyd continues to wreak havoc all along the East Coast tonight. Thousands of people are still without power and fresh water, and in some areas, floodwaters are not expected to crest for days. In North Carolina, where farm losses could reach $1 billion, officials are now planning Berlin-style airlifts to bring supplies to still stranded residents. 35 counties are still flooded, putting half the state underwater. We begin tonight with ABC's Rebecca Chase, who spent the day in the flood zone.
No one here in North Carolina has ever seen a flood of such disastrous proportions. Rivers cresting 20 to 30 feet above flood stage. Earthen dams breaching. Flooding homes, even entire communities. Hundreds of roads impassable. The losses are expected to exceed all previous disasters.
I don't think anyone expected that this would be so bad so fast.
Most of the deaths occurred when cars and trucks were swept into the floodwaters. One of the saddest tragedies, a rescue boat overturned carrying 12 people. 5 are dead, 7 still missing. They can't find my baby! They can't find my baby! The military is still evacuating people as the waters continue to rise in some places. The situation here in Edgecombe County has been called dire. The water is undrinkable, and repair and relief crews have not been able to reach some of those who are running out of food and water. In Tarboro, Main Street is underwater. 4,000 of the 11,000 residents are in shelters, and some can only be reached by air. It is both a personal and environmental disaster. Livestock are stranded in high water. There are reports of thousands of pigs and chickens that have died in the floodwaters. The water is receding in some communities, but it has not even crested in others. Rebecca Chase, ABC News, Tarboro, North Carolina.
This is Jim Sciutto. More than 1 million residents of North Carolina, Virginia, and New Jersey are being warned not to drink the tap water or even touch the floodwaters.
I'm worried about, what type of toxins are going to be penetrating our home.
For many, the only safe water now is bottled. And North Carolina alone is giving out 300,000 gallons a day.
I don't think they gave out enough with the number of people that we have in this house and the kids that we have to prepare the bottles for.
Record floods have cooked up a witch's brew of contaminants, now surging through swollen rivers and seeping into private wells and reservoirs.
It really is an ugly mix of pollutants, of wastewater, animal waste, chemicals, just any number of things.
Officials are most concerned about the threat from dead animals. An estimated 110,000 pigs and as many as 1 million chickens and turkeys drowned in the flooding. Their carcasses are dangerous carriers of disease. Also, 40 animal waste storage pits like these have been flooded at North Carolina's many hog farms, where the sewage output of just one farm can rival that of a small city. Millions of gallons of waste are now in the water, and officials say it will take weeks to clean it all up.
But at this point, we can't even access some of the farms because if they're not underwater, they're surrounded by water.
President Clinton has declared parts of 4 states federal disaster areas. He will tour some of the flood-ravaged region tomorrow. Jim Sciutto, ABC News, Washington.
The floodwaters from Floyd have receded in Bound Brook, New Jersey, allowing the cleanup to begin there. Workers spent the day pumping water out of buildings as residents tried to salvage personal items. Forecasters are watching a tropical depression in the Gulf of Mexico that could turn into Tropical Storm Harvey. It could reach Florida by Tuesday. In the Atlantic, powerful Hurricane Gert is 3 days from Bermuda. In other news, a solemn day in Fort Worth, Texas, as memorial services were held for 7 people killed last week by a suicidal gunman. This morning, Wedgwood Baptist Church opened its doors for the first time since the massacre. ABC's Mike Von Fremd was there.
The congregation stood side by side in the sanctuary where the massacre took place. Bullet holes remain, but the blood-stained carpet and pews were removed last night. This morning's service began with the pastor trying to comfort the youngest members.
We've had a big fall this week. People came into our church and started shooting people. Was it hard for you to come into church today? It was.
The pastor says this tragedy has actually brought the congregation closer together, and he ended his sermon with a prayer for the gunman.
I hold no rancor in my heart for the family of Larry Ashbrook. The poor man was deranged. His mind had been twisted by heaven knows what. He was in the power of the Prince of Darkness.
Investigators have now learned even more about Larry Gene Ashbrook's bizarre behavior hours before the shooting. In addition to ransacking his house with a crowbar, he poisoned the plants in his yard.
We will not let one senseless act of violence define who we are as a city.
Late this afternoon in a football stadium in the heart of Fort Worth, thousands, including Texas Governor George Bush, came to honor the victims.
Sean Christopher Brown.
As each name was read, a bell sounded for the 7 members of Wedgwood Baptist Church whose lives were taken. Mike Von Fremd, ABC News, Fort Worth.
A federal health panel tomorrow considers the fate of a controversial doctor who claims the Navy misdiagnosed a fatal lung condition in hundreds of sailors. ABC's Martha Raddatz has his story.
There are a lot of dirty, dangerous jobs on an aircraft carrier. Former sailor Jerry Cochran believes his, grinding non-skid adhesives off the carrier's deck, made him sick.
What made me sick was the dust that I grind aboard the aircraft carrier. And that dust contained silica, titanium, aluminum, asbestos, and beryllium.
1,200 Navy veterans, largely African Americans who served from 1965 through the 90s, have been diagnosed with the same type of lung disease with which Cochran was first diagnosed, sarcoidosis, a debilitating illness, potentially fatal. But Navy doctors who discharged Cochran in 1975 said the cause of his illness was unknown. Then, 7 years ago, a federal medical investigator, Dr. Philip Jajowski, found a link.
There were very strong, highly statistically significant associations between type of ship assignment and a diagnosis of sarcoidosis, which you wouldn't expect if this were just a random or genetic disease.
Jajowski was tireless and persistent in pursuing a link between sarcoidosis and the deck grinder's jobs. But instead of being applauded for his research, Jajowski says it has resulted in intimidation, fear, and now the very real possibility of losing his job, since the doctor told the Navy about the findings without permission.
I felt that if I didn't do what was right in making known the seriousness of this health issue, that the investigation would die.
Jajowski's superiors at the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, part of the Centers for Disease Control, tell ABC News today that the physician's job is in jeopardy, but say Jajowski has only himself to blame for failing to follow rules and for insubordination. But Jajowski sees that as a badge of honor. Why be a doctor, he says, if you don't try to do the right thing? A federal health panel will hold a hearing this week to determine the doctor's future. Martha Raddatz, ABC News, Washington.
Still ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday, a mission of peace filled with danger. Bill Bradley tells and asks about drugs. And what happens when migrants don't migrate?
This is World News Tonight, Sunday. Brought to you by Just for Men.
We're gonna change your mind about coloring your gray with the natural look of Just for Men.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men. No one can tell with Just for Men.
Just for Men penetrates hair deep inside where natural color begins. Simply apply, and in 5 minutes, rinse. Gray is gone, matched up to the rest of your hair.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men.
Chevy Tahoe, like a rock.
Opening arguments start at 9:30 whether this arthritis pain goes away or not. So I took Advil liquid gels. Nothing's been proven stronger on arthritis pain. They're the only pain reliever with liquid inside. Advil liquid gels, stronger than pain.
I should have used Preparation H. Cool it fast. Introducing Preparation H Cooling Gel. Cools on contact for fast relief. New Preparation H Cooling Gel cools on contact.
In news overseas, a snag in the deal to demilitarize the KLA. NATO says the Kosovo Liberation Army is virtually disarmed. But the peacekeepers and KLA can't agree on the role they will play in Kosovo. And another plan for peace, this time in East Timor. Australian troops began arriving a short while ago, ready to take on an unfamiliar role. As ABC's Mike Lee reports, it's a role filled with danger.
The first peacekeepers arriving in East Timor today, an advance team led by Major General Peter Cosgrove, escorted by Indonesian army officials, the same army which had allowed pro-government militias to murder and terrorize thousands. These UN officers will be followed by 7,000 troops from more than a dozen countries, among them 200 U.S. troops for logistical and intelligence support. The Australian troops are the largest group, although the Australian public seems to be behind the operation to help East Timorese civilians. There may be a high price to pay.
Any operation of this kind is dangerous. There is a risk of casualties.
A risk because Australia has led the way in condemning Indonesia's bloody crackdown against the independence movement.
And this is going to cause any peacekeeping force, and especially an Australian-led peacekeeping force, some real trouble.
In recent days, there have been angry demonstrations in Indonesia against Australia. Although many pro-Indonesian militiamen have been handing in their weapons and fleeing East Timor, some are threatening to return and kill Australian peacekeepers. This militia leader told reporters that his men were thirsty for the blood of white people. This is a major new role for Australia, which in the past has kept a low profile in international politics, letting the U.S. assume responsibility in worldwide crises. This time, say Australian officials, they have a responsibility to exert control over events in their own neighborhood. But a very dangerous neighborhood, where Australian forces say that if attacked, they will fight back hard. Mike Lee, ABC News, Darwin, Australia.
A British spy scandal grew larger today as newspapers identified two academics who allegedly passed information to the East German secret police. So far, 6 people have been accused of spying. The allegations come from a new book based on KGB archives. At least 2 people were hurt after an explosion in a Moscow suburb, and it jangled residents' nerves because of a string of recent terrorist attacks. Rescue workers say it appears the blast was caused by a gas canister. Still ahead, will Buchanan bolt? The lure of reform for a Republican conservative.
What if Dr. Frankenstein's experiment had worked?
But instead of being ugly and ruthless, the monster was handsome and charming. Would the villagers still have hunted him down? Or would they have invited him in and introduced him to their daughters? Introducing the all-new 2000 Mitsubishi Eclipse, nicely equipped at 17.7. It's alive.
Is your asthma really under control?
Yeah. But sometimes I wheeze.
Ever wake up short of breath?
I do.
Use your fast-acting inhaler more than twice a week.
I use mine every day.
If that's what you call control, ask your doctor if prescription Flovent is right for you. Flovent twice a day helps control the inflammation that can cause asthma symptoms in the first place and helps improve lung function. Flovent won't replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden attacks. People switching from an oral steroid like prednisone to Flovent, an inhaled steroid, need to be especially careful. While adjusting to the switch, your body is not as able to heal after surgery, infection, or serious injury. See your doctor if your asthma does not improve.
Now this is control.
Flovent, helping you to find asthma control.
Something's up with Mom. Yeah, now when she comes home, she has an activity planned. Soccer, baseball, badminton. She's a total spaz. Listen, we like playing just as much as the next kid, but doing it with Mom is going to take a little getting used to.
Exercise, eat right, and for nutritional support, take GNC's Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins with more calcium and more B vitamins that are important to a woman's health. GNC. Live well.
Maybe she'll grow out of it.
My feet are killing me.
You need new Podiasin Soak and Massage Gel. Only Podiasin dissolves in water for instant pain relief, then rubs into open pores for deep, lasting relief.
The pain is gone.
New Podiasin Soak and Massage Gel.
On the Sunday talk shows, Democrat Bill Bradley turned the tables on journalists who questioned him about his own drug use.
I've used marijuana several times in my life, but never cocaine.
Recently marijuana?
No.
When you were a kid?
Well, yeah, right. Have you?
I think a couple of times I tried it, and I inhaled.
Have you, Cokie?
Oh, listen, I was so pregnant during those years. The senator.
George wants to know.
No,
How can you give George a pass?
I'm from the Falstaff generation.
On another topic, Bradley also said today that he would not have offered clemency to members of the Puerto Rican terrorist group, the FALN. In other political news, presidential hopeful Pat Buchanan has been sounding pretty serious about leaving the Republican Party. He voiced his concerns about the GOP again today. ABC News political analyst George Stephanopoulos has more.
1996. Pat Buchanan stuns the Republican establishment by winning the New Hampshire primary.
Do not wait for orders from headquarters. Mount up, everybody, and ride to the sound of the guns.
But the cavalry never came. And with his party closing ranks this year behind George W. Bush, Buchanan seems ready to bolt and hitch his wagon to the Reform Party.
I believe that the Republican Party at the national level, not the grassroots, has really walked away from its platform. It's walked away from its people. They have become a party of compromise and capitulation.
Early polls indicate that a Buchanan run could split the conservative vote and cut into Bush's lead.
Whatever party he votes for or he runs for, it doesn't make any difference at all. I would vote for him anyway.
Which makes Democrats smile.
Anything that brings a little bit more excitement to it, that brings anybody and everybody out to vote, will help Democrats in the fall 2000.
And makes Republicans squirm. The party chairman plans to meet with Buchanan this week.
I'm going to emphasize to Pat and his supporters the question of why take the risk of aiding and abetting the Democrats so that Al Gore or Bill Bradley can nominate justices to the Supreme Court who will be liberal Democrat justices.
As for the Reform Party, founder Ross Perot isn't saying much yet. But Reform Party Governor Jesse Ventura is throwing his weight around. A Buchanan run in 2000 could hurt his own White House hopes for 2004. So now, Ventura is pushing billionaire Donald Trump to run. Some say that Ventura may even rig the party's rules to block Buchanan's bid. But the Reform Party chairman says that Jesse's wish is not his command.
Our rules are fair, open, democratic, and they're not going to change.
So is this shotgun marriage between Pat Buchanan and the Reform Party a done deal? Not quite. Buchanan still wants some assurance that the Federal Election Commission will grant him the millions of dollars he needs to run. Even then, getting on the ballot in every state will be tough. Actually winning the White House, even tougher. George Stephanopoulos, ABC News, Washington.
Still ahead, there's just no stopping Sammy.
It's time. Time for your heartburn to kick in because your heartburn relief gave out. It happens 2 or more days a week, even though you've treated it and changed your diet. That frequent, persistent heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease, potentially serious.
It's Prilosec time. Time to see your doctor about prescription Prilosec. Your results may vary, but for many people, Prilosec provides 24 hours of complete heartburn relief with 1 daily dose. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. 24 hours of complete heartburn relief is possible. It's Prilosec time.
Now our first denture cleanser keeps dentures feeling clean all day. New Fixodent with ProGuard, a breakthrough tablet and bath system. First, place your dentures into the bath and release the power of ProGuard to get them 4 times cleaner. Then you lift the inner basket to help seal in the clean with the ProGuard barrier, protecting against plaque and odor-causing bacteria from morning till night. Fixodent with ProGuard. Start cleaner, stay cleaner.
Before I quit smoking, I asked my doctor, is Nicorette gum safe? And he said, to quit smoking? Of course Nicorette gum is safe. Smoking is not. People smoke to get nicotine, and they get carbon monoxide and tars, which are deadly. Smoking is the danger. Nicorette can be a big part of the solution. Nicorette lets you use nicotine when you need it to help you overcome your cravings. Don't hesitate for a second.
Nicorette gum helps you fight your cravings, your habit, your way. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
One word convinced me to take an herbal to help maintain memory. Centrum.
Centrum Ginkgo is different. Some brands can lack natural ingredients. Only Centrum uses Pharmaprint for a more complete herbal every time. Centrum herbals, each naturally more complete.
Turning to sports news, our colleague at ESPN Sports Center, Dan Patrick, is here with Sammy Sosa's Major League feat and a big upset in pro football. Dan?
Hi, Carol. I know you want to chit-chat, but I don't have time. It's week 2 of the NFL. Let's get to the highlights. Raiders at the Vikings. Rich Gannon threw for a touchdown, ran for another one. The Raiders upset the Vikings 22-17 in Minneapolis. The Colts jumped to a 21-0 lead over New England, but New England comes all the way back. Adam Vinatieri, just like he did last week, the game winner. Patriots over the Colts 31-28. Now to baseball, as Carol mentioned, big day for Sammy Sosa. Hit 60 yesterday, 61 today. First player in history to hit 60 home runs in back-to-back seasons. In St. Louis, Mark McGwire against Chris Holt, number 57 on the year. He would add his 58th later on in this game. Now to boxing. Felix Trinidad beat the Golden Boy Oscar De La Hoya in a 12-round majority decision in Las Vegas. Trinidad now recognized as the world welterweight boxing champion. That is a look at sports. Carol, thank you for letting me share my Sunday with you.
I'll see you next week. Dan Patrick of ESPN. Still ahead, too much of a goose thing.
Ask your doctor about Viagra.
Remember when all you needed was you? A buddy? And an open road? We do. Meet the new Chevy Impala. Designed, engineered, and built to be the most carefree car on the road.
Let's go for a drive.
Something amazing happened here in
Colorado,
Illinois,
Connecticut, and California. I ate Quaker oatmeal for 30 days. So did I.
It helped lower my cholesterol 12 points.
22 points.
We ate ours with raisins.
applesauce.
Sauerkraut.
Really?
Really? 12 points. It's oatmeal across America.
Yee-haw.
Quaker oatmeal warms your heart and soul.
I would love to have,
dinner? Are you going to go out with Grace's mom?
Please don't have sex with them tonight, okay?
They just asked me if you were older than 25 or not.
ABC's Once and Again, premiering Tuesday at 10/9 Central.
So is that now all most of your days coming?
Comedy topped baseball at the weekend box office. Martin Lawrence's Blue Streak debuted at the top of the charts, taking in $19.2 million. Kevin Costner's For the Love of the Game followed, with The Sixth Sense hanging on for third. Finally tonight, Canadian geese are supposed to be heading south this time of year, but you need to tell that to the geese. ABC's Deborah Wong reports on the visitors that just won't go away.
They are the pesky new neighbors, 25,000 Canada geese that have decided to make Western Washington their permanent home.
We're all being invaded more and more each year, and it's tough.
Tough because the geese produce 35 tons of droppings per day.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's disgusting. Enough to cover 4 football fields.
You can't even walk through a park without stepping on it. You can't lay a blanket down.
And it's everywhere, on the golf courses where the geese in the gallery outnumber the people, in the water where officials were forced to close several popular beaches this summer, largely because of the geese.
We got little kids that are putting this stuff in their mouth. It's gone way beyond an aesthetic issue now.
So the people of Washington State have decided to fight back, putting up fences and scarecrows, even calling in the geese police. Lynn Kalnowski and her 2 dogs make a living going from place to place, trying to scare the geese away. It isn't always easy.
They're stubborn. They're actually quite intelligent. In some ways, I guess like guerrilla warfare. If one thing works for a while, then pretty soon it's not going to work and you have to try something else.
Even if the dogs succeed, it's not an ideal solution, since the geese just end up moving somewhere else.
But after years of trying to get these geese to go home, the population continues to explode and is expected to double in the next 5 years. Officials here say there's only one thing left to do,
and that is exterminate them.
I can't envision a do-nothing alternative. We've really got to take control here.
But that's not going to be easy either. Canada geese are a protected species, and the federal government must issue a permit before any are killed. Animal rights activists are up in arms.
These geese, as a matter of course, poop, and we don't think that pooping should be a capital crime.
Capital crime or not, the people of Washington are stuck with their annoying neighbors. In the war between man and geese, the geese are winning. Deborah Wong, ABC News, Seattle.
Forgive the pun, but that sounds like a foul condition. That's our report for tonight. Tomorrow on Good Morning America, the latest on the flooding in North Carolina with Governor James Hunt. I'm Carol Simpson. For all of us here at ABC News, have a good week and good night.
Monday, sending troops overseas into the middle of a drug war. Is the government doing the right thing? Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
America's got the most stuff, but do we have the right stuff? Find out with John Stossel as he travels around the world to discover, is America #1? Tonight.
Aren't you looking great?